There we go. Anita, away we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. We want to thank you again for joining the Local First Empowerment Circle workshop series. Today we have Rose Tring, which is the owner of AZ Media Maven. She brings 30 years of experience in media, including editing, writing, and social media management. Her niche is working with small and mid-sized businesses to enhance their online presence and reputation. Rose offers tailored services in content marketing, CEO's website, social media strategy, and also helping you to craft your story. If there's anything else I missed, I apologize, but Rose is great. And I thank you again for joining us. Rose, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to be here and teach you guys a little bit about Google Business Profile, what it is, how to start one, and the benefits of doing so. So I think we're going to have questions afterwards. So I'll just get started with the slideshow, and away we go. So first off, what is a Google Business Profile? It's a free listing that you can put online with the name of your business, your hours, your address, how people can find you, all the different kinds of information that will help your customers find you when they're searching online. So the main things that it gives you is visibility. You have a profile to increase your online visibility, especially on search engines and specifically on Google search, since Google Business Profile is a part of their company. Customer engagement, you can answer reviews, you can engage with messaging back and forth with your customers, and they can call you directly from the profile when they find you there. So it's a great way to engage with your customers. And it also tracks who visits you, how they found you, and that kind of thing. So it helps you with engagement. So to get started on it, a lot of times if you have a brick and mortar company, you will already be listed as a place on Google Business. And to do that, you can just claim your listing by going to Google and doing that. So we'll start at the very beginning. First of all, you have to have a Google account. Most of the time, that's a Google, it's created when you create your Gmail account. You can make that also your Google account. So you log in and you create your Google account, and then you go to the Manage Now, which will allow you to either take over your page or create a new one. I'm having trouble seeing my own slide because it's got a bar across the top of there. I'm sorry, folks. Let me go back a second here. Here we are. Yes. So I will talk about the two different ways you will create it, one from an existing location and one from starting a new one. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. That's where I want to be. All right. So as you can see, there's the two different ways. You'll have the one Manage Now or Search to begin to create a new one.
And Rose wanted to share as well, you should be able to drag the Zoom bar to a different part of your screen in order to see the presentation.
Oh, yep. There we go. That helped a lot. So yes, I appreciate that. So after choosing Manage Now, you're ready to begin starting on the profile. And this is where you really need to spend a lot of time thinking about the things you want to share and what you want to say about your business. You need to be able to write a really good description and everything. So there are two different paths, the not listed path, where you will start from the beginning, choose your category as an online business, a local business, or a service provider. If you're already listed, you will be that, you enter your information and claim that, and Google will send you an email confirming that you have the right to take over this business and you are the owner of it. So as you begin developing your profile, there's a lot to this, and Google allows you to really go in depth on this. You're seeing a screenshot of my business that has, my description and everything. So you're looking at things that are going to emphasize your business and are going to really choose the keywords that people will search for you. So if you're a restaurant, you would want to make sure that that's included, and your location and the keywords that are going to help people find you. So focus on the keywords you want people to use when they're searching for your business. Explain who you are and what you do, and add all your information that you have, the date you opened, your contact information, your website, if you've already got one done. And they recently added the ability to put in all of the links for your different social media profiles. So you can add in, I believe, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, and I think there might be one other one, but you can add all of those in, so it'll take them to your profile. So if people visit your Google business profile, they can also find all your other social media profiles. They will be able to also find your website. They'll have all your contact information. So this is a great way to consolidate everything under one thing. You add photos, and I suggest having a whole folder on your desktop ready to go so that you can pull them in immediately. You'll want to have a variety of photos. You want things that will show your product, show your team. I personally like having photos of myself and my clients because that's what I do. I work with small businesses. So the photos you see down there are me with people I've worked with over the years. You have there are other categories on there too for adding services and products. You can upload photos that show the products. You can write very detailed descriptions of your services. You can put in estimated prices. So, I mean, there is a lot that you can add to these profiles that can be really beneficial for customers looking for you. And then, of course, everybody knows about Google reviews and how important those are to your business. Google likes to see you interacting on this profile. So if you answer all the reviews, particularly answering your negative reviews and answering people in a diplomatic and tactful way, Google will reward you by pushing you further up when people search. Google likes it when you also add updates and other things to the profile, and we'll get into that in just a second. One of the hardest parts of setting up your profile is getting it verified by Google. When I started my business 12 years ago, it was really easy. You just went in there and you said, I want to get verified. You typed in your mailing address and they sent you a postcard with a code. You went back to your profile, typed it in, and there, you were done. It's not that easy anymore. They've cracked down on a lot of businesses that I guess were probably not as legit as they should be. So they're trying to clean it up and keep it a little bit more authentic. And as a result, they've made the verification process a little bit more secure and a little more detailed. There are 4 ways that you can get verified now. One is a video verification, and this would be, if you're a virtual business, this would be showing your home office and showing documentation that you're the owner, like a business license. I know there's a lot of Glendale merchants a part of this group today. You would show your city license or your city electric bill or some other thing that identifies you as the owner of the business and that it is what you say it is. So that would be video verification. And the requirements according to Google, are you must show the location, you must show business equipment, and you must show that you are proof of management or proof of ownership. That could also be your incorporation papers if you have your LLC information handy. That's the kind of things that they'll want to see on that video. And of course, they'll want you talking and saying who you are and your relationship to the business. Some businesses that'll give you the opportunity to get verified with just a phone call or a text or an email verification. And, if you get that opportunity, that's really great because that makes it a lot simpler process than doing the videos. So, and when Google does that, this instant verification, Google will call the number you've submitted as your main business, and you can get a code given to you over the phone. It's a robocall, so you're not actually talking to anyone, but it'll give you your 5 or 6 digit code, and then you type that into your profile, and that will verify your business. Or you can get a text with the code, or they might send you an email with the code. It's kind of up to you how you choose to get that instant code. A third option is a live video call where you arrange for an actual human from Google to call you, and then you do the same thing. You kind of do a tour of the business. If you have a brick and mortar storefront, you want to show the exterior, you want to show the address, you want to show any signage that you have in and outside of the building. You'll want to show your equipment, and you want to, again, show proof of management and ownership of your business. And then the last one is the way I mentioned the first time, is verification by postcard. There are still some options to do this, though it's a little less. The most common way now is the video verification, but you can still do this, and you can get your code sent to you in a postcard. Now, for businesses like myself, I work from home and I have a home office. I am a virtual business. I don't have a brick and mortar address. So when you're getting verified by Google, one of the first things you have to do is enter a physical address, regardless of what kind of business you have. And if they are doing the email or the postcard verification, it will come to your home address. Once you have that and the code and you do the verification process, you can go into the settings and click do not show address and just say, do you take your services to an area? And that can be as broad as the United States, or it can be as narrow as Maricopa County or the city of Glendale, whatever your specifications are where you provide your services. Now, this is the part that I really want to emphasize as a small business owner. It's so important to have this profile. It does so many different things to help your business gain visibility and gain credibility, especially if you're just getting started out and just launching a new business. It's one of the first things you can do to help start building that credibility. First off, Google will often, like I said before, they will often create your business as a location or a place anyway. If you go in and take ownership of that, then you get to control what the hours are, what your prices are. You get to add in your photos. You get control of all the things that are happening. The one thing you don't get to control is you can't delete reviews, and you cannot delete or change photos that other people share to your profile. However, you do get to manage how you reply to those reviews, and that is, that's another way that you have control of it by taking over the profile yourself. So you definitely want to do that because you control the narrative that way. If you're also using search engine optimization or Google advertising, all three of these work together very much in a synergy. And you can look at the performance on your profile to see how your ads are performing, to see how people are finding you, to see what keywords they're using to find your business. And then with Google Analytics, you can also compare how many website visitors you got and how many of them came from your profile. So it gives you a whole lot of information that you can use to strategically plan your next steps in marketing and promoting your business. As I mentioned before, SEO is an essential part of what Google does. And being on the front page of Google is often everybody's goal, so that you're found first when people are looking for your product or service. So this gives you an edge over the competition if you're listed on there, because Google rewards people who are actively using their tools for their businesses. And it helps you show up in data searches, and people will find photos that you have uploaded to your profile. They'll find photos other people have uploaded to your profile if they're searching for your business or service. And one of the, I want to go back there. One of the other things that it does is you're allowed to add things like offers, events, and updates to that. You can post to it just like any other social media platform. And that's one of the ways that I really think that people can utilize their profile. They can add, if you're a realtor, for example, you can put in when you're going to have open houses and when people are going to be you can invite people to those open houses on the Google profile. You can talk about your Memorial Day sales and how different products you can get a discount for them. And you can do that by posting on the Google profile. And sometimes you can just post, I just post a lot of things about my blogs or other things on my website to drive people back to my website. So you can use it in that way as well. Some of the questions that I frequently get when I'm working with businesses and helping them through this process of setting up their profile is, do I have to pay to do this? And I just want to say, if you get a phone call from somebody saying, hey, I'll be happy to set up your business profile for $500, don't take it. You can do it yourself for free. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience working through all the different steps to make this happen, but it's definitely something you can do yourself. So typically you should be able to follow all the steps that we've been outlining here and use those to create your own profile. Another one is, how can I recover my profile if someone else is managing it? This you can do. It's not always easy. Say you've had somebody like myself, a social media manager, managing your profile, and somehow you lost your login and information and you're trying to retrieve that. If you can demonstrate your ownership to Google, and they have several places on the platform where you can submit this kind of documentation and photographs and other things, you can usually get back ownership of your profile so that you can start managing it again. And having the necessity of having a verified listing, it's extremely essential. It really thwarts you in so many different ways if you don't have a verified Google business profile. None of the information you're updating or changing, or the photographs or all the different services that you're talking about, none of those are visible to anyone unless you're a verified business. You can add all this content, but no one will see it. All that they will see when they search is going to be just the name of your business and maybe the hours, whatever Google itself has put up there. None of your personal information that you have been accumulating and doing to make sure that you're very visible will be it won't be published until after the verification process. So that's the main things about how to set up and begin using a Google profile. So now I think it's time for the questions and answers if people would like to put them in chat or ask.
Thank you so much, Rose. We do have some questions from chat, but I just wanted to share with everyone, this is an open meeting today as well. So you are welcome to either, raise your hand or come off mute and have a conversation. Would love to engage. But just before we do that, I do want to make sure that we get through. We had some good questions in chat. And I know Rose touched on this, but the question was, what if you do have a remote business? What if you are, available worldwide? How does that work for a Google business listing? What does Google expect in terms of having, a physical address?
Well, the first thing you would have to do for the verification process is have a actual physical address, whether that is your home address or another address that you have where something can be physically delivered, like the postcard. Or one of my clients is a plumbing service, and they are a virtual plumbing service. They have a U-Haul storage unit where they keep all of their extra parts and supplies. And how they were able to do the verification was they have 2 trucks that are logo wrapped with their company logo. And then they have all their equipment and all their other things in this storage area. So they went there and did both the video of the trucks and the wraps that demonstrated that they are the owners of the business. They did a video that showed all of their incorporation papers and who was the owner. And then they did a tour of their storage area. And that was how they were able to get verified. So now, instead of it was mailed to their home address to get the verification stuff all sorted out. That's the address that they use. But now it just shows them as doing a service area of the West Valley and South Phoenix area.
Right.
Did that
And
answer it?
it does not list, for example, Rose, it doesn't list like their home address.
No, it just says we provide services in this area. But you do have to, there's that small window where your address will be public for a very short time until you have the verification process finished. And then at that point, it will be unpublished.
Perfect. Another really good question is it true that you need a website in order to start a Google business profile?
You do not. Google actually allows you to basically configure like a mini website on their platform. That can be your website until you get one launched. Or you can put all, like I said, you can put all of your social media in there. So you can direct people to your social media, your Facebook business page or your LinkedIn business page until you have time to get your website built.
Perfect. Let's see here.
Hi.
Good questions. Oh, yes, please.
Hi, this is Angelica Caprillion, Love Sweets. I changed my kitchen address because I'm using the Mesa Kitchen now. So, but I would like to have more business done in Scottsdale area. So, like, is there any ways I can what is there any ways to do that? Because right now it's listed that I'm in Mesa because that's where my kitchen is, and I'm not getting a lot of like requests from Scottsdale. I'm getting from Mesa, but I don't have a storefront. It's my kitchen only. So
that's where you would go in and edit your service area. You can click in there and add in Scottsdale. You can also start posting more updates that are directed towards Scottsdale, that have offers for if you live in Scottsdale or specific areas of Scottsdale that you want to target.
But do I need to still keep my Mesa Kitchen address, or should I actually hide it?
I would probably hide it if you're a virtual business and you're taking the services to the customer.
Okay.
And then just put in the service areas of, Mesa, the whole East Valley, I would assume is part of your target market.
Correct.
Yes, that's what I would do and focus on that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Rose,
Oh, go ahead.
I have one question. So just creating like just an overview of the services that a business owner provides on their Google page. Are there any, I guess, mistakes that a business owner can make in creating those CEOs to advance their search engine optimization online and to I guess to be on the first page of Google? Like, what are some of the mistakes that business owners typically make?
I would think that the main thing that they don't fill out all of the information that they can. There is so much space on Google Business Profiles for so many things about your business. And I think you get almost 1,000 characters for each service. So there's plenty of room to really go into detail about what you do and what sets you apart from other people who might offer a similar product or service. So I would say one of the main mistakes is people kind of cursily fill it out really quick and don't take time to really check into everything that's available for them to use for their business. And you can definitely take advantage of adding photos. If you update frequently with photos of you and your clients and sharing success stories on Google, that is a great way to gain more following and visibility.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you have anything to add about using, I guess, the keywords that can help with the SEOs?
I think that the best way to describe keywords is to just use your common sense. If somebody was looking for my company, for example, they'll probably search for public relations companies in Phoenix or PR company in Phoenix. So you want to make sure that the words that are describing your services and products are the same phrases and words that people would potentially be using to find you when they search.
Okay.
And, there are ways that you can look and see what your competitors are doing and see how they have written their profiles and see which keywords they are using, especially the ones that maybe are turning up ahead of you when
Mhm.
you go to the Google search and you're like, wow, why are they like, 2 pages ahead of my company? Look and see what they're doing. And, stealing the ideas to use for your own profile, there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that. If you can capitalize on that and, build that better brand visibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Rose, back on the address piece, if you have a UPS or a PO box, will Google accept that? I think you mentioned, do they send out like a postcard for verification, or how would that work?
Previously, they would allow you to have that PO box, but not anymore. It has to be a physical address. So to verify my business, I would have to use my home address.
Gotcha. And then Hope had a really good question too. If someone leaves, a bad picture, or a picture that has nothing to do with your business, or some type of spam comments for reviews or things like that, does Google allow you to report those, and will they remove them if people post, an explicit photo or something like that as part of your business?
If it's in a violation of their standards, you can report it to them, and there are multiple ways you can do the screenshot and submit that. But they are pretty quick to shut down that kind of thing themselves. They do monitor everybody's sites. I guess their algorithm and their automatic robots are doing that, but they are pretty quick to catch anything like that. But yes, you can. And one of the if you do decide to, work with Google, if you work with their advertising department, you can always get a real human that way. So even if you're only spending $50 a month on a Google ad, you will have a Google ad representative and their contact information so you can reach out to a real human, which certainly helps cut through the red tape. And if
Right.
you don't have that person, you can always, there are agencies who are Google certified agencies and Google partners. I am not one of them because I only work with, a small portion of my businesses are using me for Google ads and Google advertising, which I do for businesses, but I have several contacts now with Google, and I would be able to at least talk to a human and get a little bit better direction. If they can't fix it, they will give me the contact information of someone who could.
Right. We had some more questions about keywords and keywords to use when setting up your Google business profile. Is there a way to see potentially what other businesses have entered for their keywords, or what do you recommend in terms of, again, that search engine optimization, or just making sure you're checking every box for how someone might find you
Right.
on Google? Do you have ideas about how businesses might find those keywords?
Yes. And there are a couple of different approaches to this. I'm working with a company that's a transmission company, and they just asked me to start managing their keywords and ads for all of their profile and for their advertising. And they had transmissions as their number one match. But that could mean anybody from anywhere in the United States could find them under transmissions. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's a potential client for them, because it might be somebody from far, far away who's not going to drive their car there to have a transmission repaired. So we have revamped their entire profile and their Google advertising campaign to say transmission repair in Glendale. Transmission repair, transmission experts in Glendale. So we've really focused on the geographic keyword because that is going to be their potential clients. Most people go to a car shop that is near them, that is convenient to their home or to their office. They don't drive miles to get their car repaired because it's not convenient. So we have focused on a geographic thing. If, for example, I can't compete with words like public relations. There are massive companies in New York, that are going to be able to spend a lot more money and get those words promoted higher in their companies. So I focus on things that are more specific to what I can do, small business niche. And I use Levine because there aren't a whole lot of public relations companies in Levine rather than using Phoenix. So I find what you can do to make yourself unique, as well as combining that with the broader terms like transmissions or public relations, but adding in your unique spin to that.
Great. Thank you so much, Rose. Were there some additional questions that we had today?
Hi, this is Margarita Valdez.
Great.
I wanted to just, go back to that because I don't feel like that it was specifically answered. So when you mentioned earlier that you can see what other companies use as their keywords, how exactly would I see what they use as keywords?
Oh, I understand. Yes. Read their description of their company, read what their posts are saying, and look at the words that they're including in those. Because that's where their keywords would be, because they'll be using them in when they post an update and in their description field and in their services field when they describe their services. So those are the kinds of words you'd be looking for.
Okay, thank you. And then one other question for
Sure.
clarification. I'm sorry if it's
No.
like a dead horse, but so we're a virtual company as well.
Mhm.
If I have a US Postal Service, I'm sorry, not a US, a UPS store. Okay, and we did that specifically because the PO box is not accepted. So
Mhm.
that is considered a virtual address. Is that acceptable?
No, Google will fret with that. They will want a physical address, even if it's your home address, to initially verify the business. And then once it's verified, you don't need to put your mailing address anywhere in there. You can include it in your description, but I would not list it as your address because Google is managed, all these profiles are managed solely on maps. And if you don't actually have a physical location and people click for directions, they're going to take them to the PO box, which is why Google's kind of cracking down on that and asking businesses to not use those.
Okay, so then afterwards, if I wanted to use that um, virtual address as my address, would that be appropriate? Because you said I can hide it, but can I change it?
Yes, you can change your address. Anytime you change anything specific like that, your location or your address or your phone number, you may have to re-verify. It just depends on what those changes are. You can update things like your hours and your description and your services and prices easily. But when you start changing the physical attributes that were used to get verified, then Google might unverify you and you'll have to go back and go through that process again.
Then it would be like a round, round and
Yes.
round. I mean, every time I would change it back to that virtual address. So then my takeaway would be that then I should not update the
Yes.
address.
I got mine verified and my address on my website and everywhere it says 9307 South 51st Avenue. But that is Levine Post Office. It's a PO box. But they allowed me, for an extra fee, you could get a street address instead of a PO box address, even though it's still just the PO box. And that's what I've used on all of my paperwork and everything. But for Google, I used my home address to get the verification code. And then once I had it, I took it off of there so that my address is not published anywhere.
So then you don't have an address that shows.
No, it just shows a service area. It shows that I serve Levine, Southwest United States as my service area for my company.
Okay, so as a virtual business and potentially, like someone else said, anybody in the world could buy from us, what would be the
Yes.
service area?
Well, United States is one of the choices, and you can say globally. Or
Okay,
if I think I actually have the UK on mine too, because I have some clients that I've worked with in the United Kingdom.
okay, all right, thank you.
We had a good question, Rose, about with Google Business Profiles, there seems to be some special distinctions. There's a Google Guaranteed with a green check mark, a Verified with a blue check mark, and a Sponsored. Are those the kind of three categories? And can you give us a description of those, or do you know what those are today?
I know a little bit about them. I'm not as in-depth on that because they're tied to a lot of the companies that are service providers, uh, contractors. The plumbing business I mentioned before that I've worked with, she has the she's a Google guaranteed business, which means that there are a certain number of 5-star reviews and a certain amount of credibility attached to her business. And as a result of that, she has gotten approved for the Google guarantee. The verification, that's the minimum that we all can get. We can all get the verification. And I didn't hear what the other tier was. I had not heard of that before.
Yes, and maybe Justine, did you want to provide some clarification? But it looks
My understanding just from looking at it is it's just maybe the people that have paid. So it just says sponsored. It doesn't look like there's any check mark or anything. It's just kind of the people that are at the top that say sponsored.
That means they're paying for Google search ads, and they're paying for that to be at the top. That's what that sponsored is. A lot of times if you search, you'll see like 7 businesses and it'll all say sponsored, sponsored, sponsored. And then the next one will be a tier, but it'll be like 3 or 4 businesses in the map. Those are the organic ones. The ones above that are the sponsored ones who are paying for an advertising campaign. And the way the Google ads work, it's an auction for the keywords. So if somebody else is willing to pay a whole lot more for the keywords that would be your company's keywords, then it can be quite expensive to compete with them. That's why when I was working with the transmission company, I said, we should not be paying this huge amount of money for the word transmission when we can pay less to have Glendale transmission per click and still get a better return and a better quality lead from that.
great. Any more questions today? Thank you so much for joining us. Anita, do you want to wrap us up?
Sure. First of all, Rose, I want to thank you for just sharing your expertise, and everyone for for their participation. The workshop is recorded, and I can send out the PowerPoint to everyone that attended the workshop. And also the recording will be uploaded to the Learning Lab. So if you had not had a chance, you can go to localfirstaz.com, and the tab is goodness, I believe I can't remember the tab, but the local learning lab is actually, it's listed it's under a tab. I need to know what tab that is.
It's under Grow Your Business.
Yeah, Grow Your
Grow Your
Business.
Business.
Thank you, Alyssa. So it's under Grow Your Business, but in the Learning Lab, there is a plethora of information from every industry. It's workshops, it's videos, it's blogs, it's all the resources that you need to be able to answer any of your questions about your business. And also know that the entrepreneur support team is also available to be able to provide you with a one-on-one consultation to assist you in navigating through the Learning Lab. And also, if you need to take a deeper dive, we also have a variety of partners that will be available to assist. So I hope everyone else enjoyed the rest of their evening, enjoying the rest of their afternoon. And goodness, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Rose. Have a great day, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.